Well, good morning, good morning. At the Cleveland airport, just dropped Fred and Cheryl off the terminal. I went to park, and Cheryl's heading to Florida. Fred and I, we're going to Wisconsin. There's a round table of us self-important Maple people. I think we're somehow knowledgeable on what's going to happen. Going to be discussing marketing. I think that's interesting. And how the tariffs may or may not affect Maple. I can tell you it already has. Because we're getting a lot of requests. Like, a lot. I don't know what it means. I don't know if it's going to turn into anything. But, yeah. I've gotten a lot of requests in the last few days, for sure. Week. Potential tariff could really... I think it just made people think. So even if there isn't a tariff, it sure made some of our potential customers and prospects think. So that helped. Yeah. So we're going to be up there. We're flying into Eau Claire. That is E-A-U. The only letter vowel that's not in there is O, but that's what you say. O. Eau Claire. And then we got to find a ride. So, you know the downside of getting kicked off Facebook, or the Facebook maple syrup group chat, is I can't hail a ride as easy. That's the one downside. I used to be able to get on there and say, hey, I need a ride. And I can get a ride. But now that I'm not on there, crap, I didn't think that one through. So, got to try another way to do it. So, I'll try the Wisconsin producers page. That might help. Anyways, it'll be fun. See what we get into. Thanks for stopping by. Catch you at the end. Fred here. You know, I'm pretty sure the pilot did everything. Served the drinks, loaded up all the luggage, made the announcements. I think he put it on autopilot while I was serving the drinks. Small plane. So Fred and I got a rental car somehow. It was going to be difficult to try to get Uber to pick us up at our hotel at like 3:30 in the morning on Saturday. So we felt it was a better idea to rent this Manly RAV4. But it was the only option. We didn't have another option.
Well, all the dog sleds were taken up.
So we're going to go to a place called Cowboy Jacks. That's what they recommended, so, yep, let's go. Cowboy Jacks.
This is a nice little buggy.
Yeah. Screams Maple Farmer. There it is. Fairfield Inn, Fred.
Yep.
They should sponsor our YouTube channel. There we go. Late night snack, Culver's. Was it good, Fred?
Very good.
Good cod.
Yep.
You ready?
Good fish at a hamburger joint.
Mm-hmm. Well, good morning, good morning. I'm going to go start the car, let it warm up a little bit before we head out to Roth. I think it's Roth Sugarbush, actually. Roth Maple Supplies? I don't know. I do know they are the largest CDL dealer in the United States, which is impressive. If CDL is the largest equipment company in the United States, and they're the largest equipment dealer, it's a pretty good-sized company. Hold on a sec while I start this. What's amazing is this little camera on my phone. Let me turn you around. I hold this thing. I'll show you. So this is the thing I use. It's called a PGY Tech Mantis Pod Pro. I highly recommend this thing if you plan on starting a YouTube channel. This thing's amazing. They're not cheap, but this thing causes a lot of fear in people. It's not the intent. It just helps you keep your camera stable. And then if you want to, you can turn it into a tripod. Hold it there. But we're going to grab some coffee and then head out. Normally, I don't like to rent a vehicle. I think the whole thing's a scam. You have to pay money and then drive. So I like Uber, but a lot of times with these Maple events, they are in kind of rural areas, so Uber doesn't work. So I've invented something called Moober, which is Maple Uber. So what I do is I reach out via, Facebook groups and say, hey, I'm going here. Can anybody pick me up? So far, it's worked out pretty well. I just had to rent a vehicle here because of the early flight on Saturday. But I prefer to Moober with you folks. So I appreciate those who have picked me up and, try to make it worth their while. Get to meet you and, travel with you and, talk to you a little bit, get to know you. And, I kind of like that. So Moober's my number one preference. Then Uber. Then renting a vehicle. What do you think, Fred? That's about it. That's about it. No one has harvested my organs yet. That's like the only rule. You're not allowed to harvest my organs. Because, you're traveling with strangers, It's a little odd. There's a good number of people here already.
Yeah, I see it back.
I don't see any red RAV4s. You see any RAV4s in the lineup here, Fred?
Well, there's that thing back there. There's a Bronco. There's a nice looking Chevy. You took up 2 spaces, really.
Did I?
Yeah.
This is Dave. And Dave took all of his seats out of the minivan so he couldn't give us a ride, but you wanted to.
I would have.
I call it Moober, Maple
One
Uber.
in a seat. The other one I had to sit on the floor.
All right. And you came all the way from Minnesota.
Southeast Minnesota.
All right.
2.5 hours.
So you were almost my Moober ride. I call it Moober, Maple Uber.
Right. Maple Uber.
Yep. Well, I appreciate the offer, but
Yeah.
we had to end up renting a car because of the flight early in the morning.
Yeah.
So cool.
And it's just easier to get around.
So how many taps do you have?
400.
400.
high vacuum.
So did you buy a 3x10 evaporator?
I got a 2x8.
I'm messing with you.
I got a 2x8 actually. It's
That's
way
a
bigger
good
than I need, but
size, though.
got a good deal on it. So
I feel like the 2x8 is so much more efficient than a 2x6.
Oh, yeah.
That extra 2 feet, same amount of wood.
yep, just
I mean-
need more taps.
Yeah, well, that's what we. Yeah, and then you'll need an RO, and then
Oh, I got that already too.
give a moose a muffin, or is it give a mouse a cookie? You ever see that book? Read that book? It's a children's book.
Oh,
That's about every maple farmer.
oh,
You got to get a bigger RO, and then you need more taps. Then you need a bigger evaporator.
yeah, I got everything.
Then you need a
bigger.
filter press.
Yeah, I got all that. I got everything bigger. I just need more taps.
Well, nice meeting you.
I got ground for it. So
Nice meeting you, Dave.
yep.
So, Pete, the first thing is just state your name and name of your business.
Pete Roth Sugarbush, CDL, Wisconsin.
And what are we at today? Like, what is this?
We have an open house every year, the first full weekend in February. So today's the third day of it, and we'll have 300 to 400 people a day come and go. We started it years ago as we ship a lot by UPS, and we were shipping 3 trucks a day of UPS, mostly containers and stuff for people in the spring. And glass is tough to ship, expensive to ship. So we decided to give them a discount, come and pick it up, and then we didn't have to ship it, and they get a discount, and we make free lunch for them at noon, which draws a lot of people for some reason. And it's grown into, over the 4 days, we'll get 1,600 people. And
So,
depends on the weather a little bit.
now you and I have been talking about a lot of things, but this board over here.
Yep,
Can you explain this
the
board
local
here?
high school here, they're from Owen Withy, their FFA club does sugaring, and they have a woods with tubing in, and it teaches the kids business. They got to look at their expenses, their marketing, and they sell the sap. They put the sap out for bids, so the local sugar makers can buy the sap from the kids. They have a business plan and stuff, and just part of their group developed this map here. We put it in during the open house here, and each pin represents number of taps. You know, like green is under 100, and then the black is over 5,000 taps. And when a customer comes in, they can take a pin that represents their number of taps and put it where they live.
Gotcha.
We don't have any names on there, but you can kind of look at it here, where it gives you a little swath of where a lot of the sugar makers come from.
Gotcha.
So, but this goes to the different events. It goes to the state meetings and stuff.
Sure.
So it isn't all from here, but you can kind of see where Wisconsin sugars. And it's just something to look at and informational stuff.
So we were talking about number of employees seasonally high. You said about 20
Yeah.
during maple season.
Yeah.
And then how big is this building? Is this 30,000 square feet?
Pretty close. Yep.
Okay. Is that a pretty good guess?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. And we built it, so I think 12 years ago.
I got you.
One
One of the best things you ever did?
Yeah, it was. We went from our old store out in the country, it started out as a cheese factory. We added on to it, then it burned down, so we fixed up the part that burnt, and it was kind of pieced together. That's where my evaporator is, and I have sugar out there.
You're still there.
Yeah, we boil from a little over 20,000 taps. So we mix that with this, which is real handy at times. So we moved down here, and it was a little bit of a risk to do that because you don't
How
know.
far away is it from your original location?
7 miles.
7 miles.
But no, and I found a lot on the highway here. There's 30, 40,000 cars on Highway 29.
It's like a free billboard as you drive
Yeah.
down. It's easy to see.
Yeah.
You know, I took some shots of that coming.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss. So we put the showroom on. We're probably have more inventory than most dealers in the country.
Even equipment manufacturers.
Yeah, but we used to be in other businesses too. We used to have hardware stores and lumber yards and stuff. And the educated people will tell you got to turn your inventory 4 times a year, and you know they got a whole formula.
None of the business books apply to maple.
No, well, because your manufacturers, it's so seasonal that if I waited till, say, I had 10 bags of spouts on the shelf and I sell 5, I order another 5 to replace it, you'd never keep up.
Nothing in business school is applicable to maple.
So my theory is if I got it, they'll buy it because they know they can come here and I decide to put up some tubing, they can come here and get 15,000 feet of main line. They can buy 10,000 spouts and tees and whatever they need 99% of the time. Once in a while, you get into a spot where they can't keep up at the plants.
I got you.
But you can look. Most of it is because the people know we got stuff here. And we do a big online business. We ship all over the country and that.
So now, Pete can't say this, but I can say this. I've heard from several sources, not named Pete Roth, that this is the largest CDL equipment supplier in the country. But I've also heard that Wisconsin here has the most, like the top sales of every equipment manufacturer is actually in Wisconsin. That's how much syrup is made, how much tubing is put up, that Wisconsin has the top Lapierre dealer, top CDL, and I want to say even at one point like H2O.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of syrup made in Wisconsin.
There's good dealers in Wisconsin.
Sure.
And a lot of them follow somewhat of this business plan and that. You know, there's good dealers out there, no matter what company. And that we try to all work together. At least I try to work with them and stuff, and there's good ones there. When they say we're the largest CDL dealer, I'm not sure if they're talking about equipment or me, so it's kind of iffy there. But I'm slimming down.
I see that. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm trying to get out of that reputation.
So your daughters, you have two daughters.
Two daughters, Chelsea and Samantha. We call her Sam. Sam and her husband work here. That's probably will be the next generation.
Cool.
That's coming along, and that. I always say it was my dad's hobby, and it turned into our job.
I did the same thing. I ruined my dad's hobbies when he said.
Yeah. This, it used to be a hobby, and it was kind of entertaining. Now it's just like a job, and that. But I enjoy all the people. I'm like in the third generations now. We've been doing it for over 40 years. So I delivered my first evaporator in '79. So
That's when I was born.
was it?
Yep.
Making me feel old there.
Yeah, that's when I was born. But we were talking earlier, like you actually worked or went to the Reynolds plant.
Oh yeah, my dad and Juan were good friends, and we would haul equipment. And back then, I would sell the commercial syrup that you didn't have a home for
Sure.
to them. They had a tin shop. They would build the stuff that you couldn't buy from the
And
dealers.
at one time, that was a monster, man.
Oh yeah, they
Rail cars. They would bring in rail cars of syrup.
Yeah, they'd have 250,000 taps, not of their own, but they would buy sap from.
Wow.
And when they
You said they had how many evaporators?
when I was young, they had 5 6x20s and 2 vapor
5
compressors.
6x20 evaporators, and then vapor compression, which we were talking about is like very similar concept to the is it
Master E, yeah. Yeah, it just lowers the atmospheric pressure so it boils out.
Boiling under a vacuum.
Yeah.
Boiling under a vacuum.
Yeah.
So let's walk around.
Yeah, we can do that. Showroom here, you can kind of see what we stock and that. It looks like this most of the time. And that, you can kind of see the people are here. And it's kind of quiet right now.
Some people run from the camera.
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
Some people.
They might be wanted. I don't know.
Good point.
And
They're on a
like we
witness
got,
protection.
yeah. We keep ROs on hand. The people sometimes don't decide what they want to do to syrup season, so these are all just new ones in stock for sale and that.
I was going to ask you the biggest mistake you see sugar makers making when they first start out, like from, they don't know if they're going to love it, and then they end up getting hooked. How much money do you think they'd save if they were to just go all in at the beginning?
Well, it's scary for a lot of people. It's a big investment. I sell the same evaporator machine a lot of times 2-3 times. They'll start with a small one, and then the neighbor will tap trees, and then their evaporator's too small for all the sap, so then they buy a bigger one, and they work their way up. A person that goes from 0 and wants to tap 10,000 trees, that's a big
risk.
That's a big step. So a lot of times I'll say, let's do your tubing, and let's sell your sap to somebody in the neighborhood. Somebody always will buy sap.
Sure.
Recoup some of your losses, and then you can.
So you'll learn the woods part first.
That's where you make your money.
You're right.
Your money comes from the woods, and then when you're selling sap to the neighbor, you can watch him boil. You can learn the sugar house from him, and then maybe get into that. So that's my suggestion to them. Some people
Smart.
go from 0 to 100. And,
That's stressful, man.
well,
You can always tell.
there's not a school you can go to learn this.
That's true.
And so that type of stuff. ROs get better every year. The technology gets better. So upgrading ROs, becoming more efficient. Tubing installations, you can look all over the country and the production per tap has gone up consistently. We
whole
learn
country,
new
yeah.
techniques and stuff. And the biggest mistake I see guys do is tap small trees. You'll go to a new installation, they got 4-inch trees tapped. And I'll say, well, why would you do that? It's like killing your kids, because that's your next generation of trees. Well, it's a lease and I'm going to be out of there in 10 years. I'm just going to get what I can get.
Yeah, it's a danger of leases.
And usually the guy leasing the woods don't really know maple leaves depending on it. So there's all kinds of aspects of it.
So somebody's starting off, like, I guess common mistakes you see, or you would like to help people. When do they get confused on whether they can often think you're trying to sell me equipment. Well, yeah, but you're also trying to help them.
Well, yeah, I don't want to sell them something they don't need because then I'm the bad guy.
Right.
But I want them to get the most return on their investment. Like, we talk about putting new spouts on every year. Mm-hmm. And when I tell some people that...
Well, you just want to sell me spouts.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
So I always say, go to a reputable research facility. Go to Proctor, go to Acer, go to Cornell University. Somebody that's impartial and has done the research. That's what those guys do. Like we got Mark Canello here today. He does the research, and he does it impartially. So...
to help the farmers.
They're there to help you.
That's their job, education.
Yeah. So I said, don't believe me. Go to them guys and see. The worst thing they do is read stuff online.
Oh, boy.
It's
or YouTubers. Jeez.
Yeah, those YouTube guys you got to watch them. But go to somewhere reputable. Billy Bob down the street that's got 50 taps and telling you how to clean your RO probably isn't the guy that you want to go read your manufacturer's recommendation on the membranes. Every membrane cleans at a different pH and how they clean it.
There was one I caught the other day. It was slight. It was like, there's a difference between 5/16 and then, what's the other size? Like
1964, 1764.
If you don't buy the right bit for your spout, you could cause a problem for yourself.
So if you look in our catalog, I did the same thing the first year I went to 5/16.
Yeah.
All my spouts were leaking, and I'm thinking, what the,
Because you had a slightly smaller.
Yeah, it's just a 16th, and it's different.
But no one tells you this.
Well, a good dealer will tell you that.
Right.
And if you look in our catalogs, by every spout, it recommends the bit size, and that. So we always ask, what you got going. So
good deal. Walk through.
There's really good dealers out there. I can't say nothing bad about any of them, but some of them don't have the experience.
Well, that's when you're a dealer, you're just getting rich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a great time to be a dealer right now, Pete?
Depends on how.
Like when the bulk price of syrup's down, it's not a great time to do equipment.
Yeah, true. I'd like everybody to get $3.50 a pound because I'd sell all kinds of equipment.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I tell them that in the meetings, but there's ways producers can pad their income by, if you're just going to make syrup, put it in the barrel, and sell it to a guy like you or me, you got to be efficient. You got to be good.
Everybody thinks they're efficient, including you and I.
Yeah. I used to think I had good tubing till I put monitors on the end of the lines. I used to go in the pump house.
I used to argue with my dad, and then you put monitoring up, and neither one of us was right.
No. So you have to be efficient. But if there's guys out there, if you retail a little bit of it, make it added value products, come up with something, make a campaign where I rent a tree. You give me $50 a year, I'll rent you a tree. I'll send you a half gallon of syrup in a newsletter a couple of years.
Creative ways, yeah.
Creative ways. If I was retired, I had nothing to do, I'd load my vehicle up with syrup. I'd go up to
Florida.
Go out west, sell at farmers market, but every bag would have a slip in where they could order it online.
100%. There's no syrup made in Wyoming or Colorado.
Most people out there don't even know what it is.
True.
And that the biggest problem is they got bad syrup. They got syrup somebody made that, has an off flavor.
Not every drop of syrup in America or in the world is perfect.
No, but everybody makes the best syrup.
Yeah.
So you want to show them what good syrup is, introduce them to it, educate them, and then give them a place to buy it. So you can increase your bottom line, and then what you
It's like a mutual fund. You want your incomes coming from multiple sources.
And if you can't sell it all that way, then that's the time to take it to a buyer.
So we're actually in the front of the building, which was probably an addition, I'm guessing.
No, it was all done at the same time.
It was all done at the same time?
Yep.
So this is your store, but the back is huge.
Yep. The back is the warehouse. We can walk back there. Samara is our social media girl.
Hi,
And
Samara.
this
I'm
is
Nate.
Nate.
Nice to meet you.
Yep. She does all the social media stuff. So, and a lot of the online advertising that. And so she puts out that the customers, put your order in online for pickup, what day you're coming. So the boys all pull the orders, like they're pulling orders today for tomorrow.
So you tell the boys what to do.
I don't know what.
No, not really.
Yeah, once in a while she does, but
Every now
she tries to make me look good online. So
Yeah, you're doing a good job. Honestly,
Yeah.
you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I watch every YouTube video you guys do.
Awesome. We have
You're putting some cool tunes in there. I see it's
Thank
expanding
you.
and growing.
We
yeah,
are.
we
getting a little bit-
That's why you hire the young ones because
They
they're
know how to do
more
it.
in tune with it than that.
You're
So,
monetized now, right? Because you're at 1,000 subscribers. You should be able to. Is it the watch time?
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure down the link in this video, we put a link to your YouTube channel. Get your guys. I mean, you won't make a lot, but you'll make some. You're ready. Like, you're at that point where you've put the time in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't make a lot. I make like $400 a month.
yeah.
But it costs me $2,000 a month to do this.
Right.
Yeah. So that was her deal. And the boys here, they work in the warehouse. And now we can go this way. Some of the curtains are
If
up.
she ever has a question on YouTube, she can just shoot me an email.
Yeah, she's pretty sharp at what she does. So for the show, we got some black curtains up to kind of segregate everybody.
Sure.
They do some demonstrations with different stuff, and
Well, this is cool.
yeah, that's
Gas powered.
gas powered. We sell a few of them. It's got a Honda motor on, vacuum pump.
So this is like for Amish, typically.
Yeah, not or woods that you don't have
Oh,
power.
that's
at.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, but you get all kinds
You
of
want to
people.
pull around?
But yeah, we can kind
back
of
right
peek
up to
through
that
here.
This place is hopping. It's busy. I mean, there's just people going everywhere.
Like a lot of this is orders that are pulled, but we have a lot of stock inventory. So guys decide to do an addition on their woods, they can come get a pallet of tubing. We keep that all around.
How was expansion? Was expansion down?
Expansion's down a little bit, but guys are putting in new tubing in existing woods to get more sap.
So it's hard for people to see it, but now's the time to put tubing in.
Well, we got good weather here now.
Well, I'm just talking like when the price of syrup's down, everybody wants to buy pigs. When pigs go up, the hog price goes up, then they buy them.
Yeah.
It's actually the opposite. You should wait till the hogs are down, then buy them.
Yeah, a lot of people need a certain level of income, and it's kind of a good and bad situation where you need the income, so you add more taps, which produces more syrup, which goes on the market, which sometimes
Supply goes up.
but you know how much syrup is made around the country, and there's really no surplus.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's a lot of surplus right now at all.
The problem with the price is, for me, and I preach this all the time, and some people argue it, is the exchange rate. That's going to be, if the exchange rate would even out, if it was on par, buck for buck with Canada, our syrup
Would be $3, $3.35 a pound.
But everybody has a theory, but I've been around this a long time, is a big packer will, in the spring, to set their price, they will look at what syrup's going to cost them from Federation, because you can make a phone call.
And that's who they compete with.
And that's who they compete with. Until we figure out a way to control the exchange rate between the two countries, you're a slave to that all
It's
the
the
time.
same thing. They'll do the same with milk,
No,
timber. I mean, it's a real thing. And I think maple farmers have known this for a while.
yeah.
Like, there's definitely a discrepancy.
And that's, we keep adding and growing and expanding, but the syrup disappears.
It does. That's a good point.
For 20 years, everybody says, oh, you're selling so much stuff that you're going to flood the market and it ain't going to be worth nothing.
I think Bruce told me from 2020 to from 2000 to 2020, the industry doubled 10 years and then doubled again. So that's a 4 times.
Yeah.
A 4x growth.
And
of
there's
the
still
industry.
no extra syrup.
And then they said it's going to double again over the next 15.
Yeah.
Where's it going? Overseas? Consumers in the U.S.?
Yeah, the consumption per pound per the population in the U.S.
going up.
is like 3 times less than Canada. But Canada, you think maple syrup, you can go to this restaurant and get maple syrup. They got a maple leaf on their flag.
They owned it.
They own it.
Even though the industry really started in the United States during the Civil War, we were producing, I think it was 10 years ago when we actually met what we were producing as a world in 1860.
Yeah.
That's how much syrup was made.
Well,
with
back then,
horses
that
and
was our
buckets.
sugar
That's
supply.
it. That's all you got.
Yeah. So they're the largest producer by a lot. You know, we're not
70%.
Yeah. So, you know, they own it. They own the syrup production. We own the market.
That's
The
true.
market, 70% of their production comes into the U.S.
We're eating essentially as a country everything Canada makes. But
Yeah,
the U.S.
it
if
makes
you
some
include
too.
the-
Yeah.
So it's like 70% of the world's syrup.
Yeah. So what they're doing here is the customers come up front, they get their order, pay for it, whatever they do up there, and then they load out of here. There's usually 4 or 5 guys here. So you can see the pallets here. They pulled these orders yesterday, and so this order here tells the day he's coming and that. So they stage them here. So when a guy pulls up, there's 2 guys loading it, makes it quick. You stand in line long enough, so we try to streamline it wherever we can.
Yeah, you got a good thing. It's what do you call it? There's no wasted movement.
Well, after this long of doing it, we should have it
Is
figured
this
out.
20? How many years you've been in this location? 12?
12, I think. And we did it for years at the old place. We
got
started with 2 days, and then we went to 3. Now we're at 4. I'm not doing anymore. The next guy can do more. This is where we buy syrup. We bring it in, weigh it, grade it, stuff. And this is our syrup room here where we can do our stuff. But they stopped anything to do with syrup, and they use it to stage pallets.
Okay.
Now,
The real important question is what's for lunch?
what is for lunch today? Pulled pork.
Oh, I've never had pulled pork and I didn't like.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I don't know if she got beans and some other stuff. Every day is kind of a different menu. We
Gotcha.
did chili one day, meatballs and stuff one
I'm
day.
in pulled pork.
Yeah, so the guy in the orange is my son-in-law, and the guy with the long hair is
So he's married to Sam?
Sam.
Okay.
And the other guy is my maintenance guy
Okay.
and that. So,
So like if a RO needs a pump replaced,
yeah, he
somebody
works.
can bring it in, he'll change it out
Yeah,
for him.
we got a full service department. We can rebuild vacuum pumps, turbines.
Does it work better to go out in the field or bring it in?
Depends. We have the tools and everything here, because sometimes when you go in the field, you're
You
limited.
run into something.
Well, and the customer says, well, it's doing this. When you get there, it's a different problem.
Gotcha.
And you don't have everything with you, where if they can throw that post in the back of their truck and come here, an hour we can fix it and go. And that we've never had a machine down longer than a day. And that because
That's important.
once you have an RO and they call you and say, oh, my RO's down, well, just start boiling, I'll get there. No, I'll wait for you. You got to boil without an RO. So it's better if they bring it here, but sometimes it ain't feasible if it's a big machine.
Sure.
And that,
And maple farmers always have too much sap storage.
yeah. The best thing we ever did in our sugar house, and I fought this for years, is a bulk tank. And
To store your concentrate.
store your concentrate.
That changed the industry.
Yeah, the
If
next.
you have a full-time job,
Yeah.
I remember like boiling into the night and then going to work, boiling into the night, going to work. These guys got it made now with these bulk tanks.
Yeah.
Boil on Saturday, man.
Well, and I thought that, and that because I do all the boiling, and that they're nervous about that, so they keep the old guy around. But like you say, they gather sap, haul the sap. We haul concentrate from some woods. We bring it to about 8 to haul it. We take it to 25, put it in the bulk tank. So if you got 2-3 days, that's so. It can go in the bulk tank, and when the bulk tank's full, I'll go in at 6 in the morning with one of the guys to give me a hand, and I'm done by 1-2 in the afternoon.
Nice.
And they can clean it all up, and we're good for a few more days. You can store it for a week or better, but we the bulk tank's usually full within 3-4
Yeah, I heard
days.
there's even sometimes in the season where even the bulk tank won't save you. You got to just,
Yeah.
you got to boil
And we
it.
keep it like 30 degrees. It looks like a margarita in there. It's slush.
Slushy
Yeah. And you learn.
maple margaritas.
That's what it looks like. You looked at the cover.
Yeah.
And it's froze to the plates or stuff. So, that's.
Now you have like a repair area or like
Yep.
a maintenance area?
Yep, we can kind of go down that way. Yeah, so let's see what's going to be this. Let's sneak this way.
Sure.
It's kind of a circus right now. So you see the pink pallet jacks?
I do.
We bought them because everybody would steal the other ones in the freight trucks. Nobody takes a pink.
That's genius,
Yeah,
actually.
so all the new ones are pink.
That actually
Yeah.
is smart. The truckers don't want them.
No, nobody wants to leave with a pink pallet jack. So you can see a couple of them floating
That's
around.
smart.
But that's why we did that.
That's a good tip right there. That's a good tip. Oh, these are cool.
yeah,
Are these
we-
fabricated locally? These
Yeah,
machines?
we make them. Oh, we got a guy that does our welding.
Okay.
He does our stainless stuff, but he does this.
So you can actually go out in the woods and run your main line.
Yeah, so these are on trailers.
There was a guy that did this in like Vermont for a while. I don't think he does it anymore.
Yeah, so they fold up like this. This is a
I
full.
got you. This is the same unit.
Yep, same unit. So, and that top part comes off so you can throw it in the back of a pickup. This is it spread out. They're adding another one up here for wire. So you can put
Do
your.
it at the same time.
Yep, or you only need one piece of equipment. And then this is a portable one. So it folds up to just a tube and it's just got legs that sits on the ground.
You know, this is that's smart, getting it off the ground, because I have one that sits on the ground and it always hits sticks.
Yeah.
Getting it up in the air.
So they're just pins to pull and it all folds together and collapses.
That's cool.
and
This
it's
is only $1,000?
Yeah, just under.
American made.
Today you get 5% off.
5% off today.
You get $50. So
Cool.
we do that. We kind of tweak them every time we build them. The highest part of the whole thing is the tires.
Finding them or mounting them, or
Well, just buying them.
are they powder coated?
Yeah, they're powder coated.
Right here locally.
Yep, everything's done within 15 miles of here.
I got you.
Yeah, you can buy those big aluminums ones and stuff. You know, they're hard to get. A lot of, the manufacturers don't stock them and stuff. This one, we keep these here, and the local guy builds them. And he's our stainless welder. So, like, if we have a pan that needs welding on, I just call him. He's portable. He goes and
Comes
does
in
it.
right and does it.
Yeah, you don't want me welding on your pan. And that, so... So this is...
Kind of your used section.
Yeah, anybody that trades stuff in, you end up with used lifters and extractors, pans,
Sure.
even some aluminum buckets show up once in a while. And then this room down here, we can, as long as we don't make too much noise, we'll go down there.
I smell food, Pete.
Oh yeah, that's where they eat lunchroom. But this is usually our service department, but we clean it out for right now.
Gotcha.
And this is where they do the seminars right now. And
Just doing it in the dark, huh?
well, he's probably got a PowerPoint on
I
the
got
screen, and they can see it better.
This is like the web order pick and
This
pack
is
and-
the assembly room. We Tapma Trees is part of us here.
Oh yeah.
Out of here. So the girls that work in here,
This is all Amazon, right? A lot of Amazon
hardware.
hardware stores.
so-
I bought a case from
Yeah.
Tractor Supply.
Yep, that's one of ours. So they take a box of 2,500 spouts and they package them into this. So they work year round in here. There's the labels and stuff. It's a little bit of a session in here, but the girls work in here do that. They work
Heck
year
yeah.
round. So, and then from here, we can go out here. Like this item here is a hobby bottler.
It's like a coffee urn.
Yep, but different. There's no hole in the bottom where you put your percolator. It's flat.
Okay.
You can control the temperature. Sight
No
gauge.
kidding.
Yeah.
Do you have one that's loose?
Yeah, I can show you one on the shelf.
So you're selling a bunch of these.
Yeah, we've been selling them for a few years. I see some other guys are starting to sell a version of them now, but it's $149 for
wow.
for a hobby guy.
This is the way to do it.
And it's got the dripless valve on it, which is replaceable when it wears out. You can just screw it out and put a new one in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that because with syrup and stuff, they wear
How
out.
close can you control the temperature of that?
You can control it where you want it, but the dial isn't always correct.
Yeah.
So I tell everybody, put water in it, bring it to the temperature you want, put a mark. and then it'll be right.
I got you.
But it varies a little bit. It'll maintain the temperature.
Is it an analog dial? Like
Yeah, just
it's
a dial.
not digital.
No,
I got you.
That's not digital.
Those digital dials, man, they're like plus or minus 20. You gotta like really know where it's at.
Well, for $149, a
Oh, it's
double
worth
wall
the deal.
stainless, they don't probably use the highest, accurate thermostat on it. But yeah, it's just we sell lots of them every day.
Gotcha.
And
This
that-
is a big market, right? Like the guys that are making it
Well,
at home.
yeah, and I think a lot of the equipment companies make the mistake. They all want the 10, 20, 50,000 tap guys. That's big numbers, a lot of volume.
How many of these guys become 10, 20, 50? Like 1 out of 1,000?
Yeah, I don't know the percentage, but a few.
Got you.
But there's 15,000% more of these guys.
Yeah.
So if you took our mailing list, that's roughly 15,000 active customers. Our system drops you off after 3 years. If you don't buy anything 3 years, you become idle. So we don't send you a catalog or nothing because you ain't doing anything.
That's good to know. So now you know why you didn't get that catalog. Yeah. You need to order something to get the catalog.
If I drew a line at 2,500 taps, I would probably have 1,500 to 2,000
I
customers.
got you.
So you've got 13,000 customers that are under that. And this is what they want. They want
And this is a bulk of what your team's doing, moving these things.
yeah, it's
You
just
got
like,
overhead to cover. You got people here.
well, yeah, I like all the big jobs. Don't get me wrong. I'll take them all day.
Sure.
But,
But this enables you to have a staff.
the hobby guys is just as important. A guy comes in with 150 taps and has a problem filtering. I'll spend just as much time with him as the guy that's got 20,000 taps because to me, they're just as important and that's how we started.
Sure.
The first year we had 100 taps
Yeah.
in that. So
My dad got mad every time I put more buckets up.
yeah.
Because who's going to boil this?
Yeah, we had 10,000 buckets with horses at one time.
Oh, wow.
I was way thinner back then. But yeah, if you come this way now, the vacuum filters came to existence a few years ago.
I see those a lot.
They were around for a while. They brought them to the
Do you
U.S.
mix DE in with these, or is it
Yeah,
just
a little
pull
bit.
through the membrane? Or
Do
the filter
both.
paper?
Well, it's an Orlon with a pre-filter. That's basically your filter. But yeah, DE helps it, especially if you got, end of
That
the
makes
year.
your filter basically builds up and acts like a filter. Like,
Yeah, it creates like a honeycomb where the dirt sticks to it, and then the syrup can go through the filter. Without the niter in your syrup coats the filter and shuts it off, and that's how a filter press works. Filter press without DE is useless,
Right.
but that's what DE does in there. They create that cake.
What's an investment in something like this? Do you know off the top of your head?
You're probably in the $800 range.
Okay. But it's not the cost of a filter press.
No, so they make bigger ones of these. They can get them 12 and 14 inch. Once you start getting into the big ones, you're at the cost of a filter press.
I got you.
So I tell the guy, okay,
This is a good lab size, though, or R&D size.
well, this you can put on a burner. It's got a stainless bottom, a gas burner, and you can maintain heat. It works really well. But if you're going to get to the price of the filter press, I'd buy the filter press.
Yeah.
You'd be going back.
Because you can always put less plates in, I guess.
Yeah, you can just pull out some center plates and move the end plate back. So like this is shipping area. Shelly here has been with us for a long time, and she does.
Hi, Shelly.
She does the UPS and FedEx and all that stuff, and we'll load a couple trucks a day of that and stuff. So that's where she hibernates over here.
You're busy, aren't you, this time of year?
Yeah. So, and then this kind of brings us back to the front, but you can see what's in here. Here's a good thing here too. I'll show you. So we sell pallets and pallets of tubing like this. We have the tubing plant roll 100-foot rolls.
Okay, is this for just hobbyists?
This goes to the hardware stores.
Yeah.
And
So, like, Tap My Trees are just hardware stores?
both.
I got
Both,
you.
Yeah. So somebody that wants to put 10 taps up and that.
They don't have to buy a 500-foot roll.
No. But what we find is a hardware store is generally 7 days a week they're open. So on Sunday, when a big sugar maker's got to go to woods and he needs to repair some lines, he can't go buy a roll of tubing at his normal supplier. They'll
So
stop
they'll
it.
go grab a roll.
They'll stop at Tractor Supply and buy 2 of these, and at least the boys can do some maintenance.
That's how you know your state's moving a lot of juice.
Yeah.
When you got that at your local hardware store.
Yeah, and it goes across the country in the Maple Belt. You know, there's guys all over. So we do like 12 packs of connectors or spouts. Well, sometimes
In a bind.
yeah, and you can get it on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock.
That's a good point.
If you call, I don't care which company, their store ain't going to be open.
That's true.
And
You need some rest, you know.
Yeah, so that, you know, that's a lot of it. It's just a 100-foot roll of 5/16. It's 4-season. It's good tubing. It's the same tubing they use every other day,
That's a good idea.
and that. So that does a lot.
This is busy. There's a lot of innovation that came out of here, actually.
Oh, over the years we
You
should
guys
have.
have come up with a few things.
Yeah. So
The Tap My Trees was you.
well, no, it started in Massachusetts.
Oh, really?
Joe McHale was the original founder, and then we competed in the store.
Gotcha.
And Joe was a big marketing guy, I believe, at Pepsi, and he sold the stuff out of his garage to the hardware stores. But we'd compete. So one year I called Joe up, and I said, Joe, why don't you let me package it and you sell it? You're better at selling it than me. So he says, no, we ain't going to do that. And I said, okay. So I'd put my
Salesmen sometimes think they're better at something than they are.
So we competed, you know, and the next year he called me. He says, you still want to do that deal? And I said, sure. Yeah, no problem. He says, my wife's going to kill me because I got the whole garage full of stuff and the house full of stuff. So with CDL, we picked that company up and we basically run it for CDL.
I got you.
And Joe retired into the sunset, and he was happy, and it was a good thing for both of us.
So the 100-foot rolls is definitely kind of something you came up with.
Yeah, well, we look like we got 1/2-inch mainline, which is definitely a hobby deal, but we do
I've never seen that.
we do a 150-foot roll
I got you.
and that. So we do a lot of smaller stuff for the hobby guys. They come in and they don't want to buy a 500 or 1,000-foot roll.
Yeah.
They'll buy a 150 roll of 1/2-inch. We got some 1/2-inch mainline fittings and 1/2-inch stuff. And they can put up a small system in their backyard. So when they get home from work at night, the sap's in the tank. And
It's so much better. Checking your tanks and your slippers is better than sloshing through the woods.
yeah, well, 40 years ago when we started this, I sold to farmers and loggers. And now a good share of the people we sell to work off of the homestead. So they go to work, and they can see all the monitoring on their phone. They can see the tap height, the sap height in their tanks and stuff. They can see what's going on in their woods. They get home at 5 o'clock. The sap's there. They boil to 10 o'clock at night and go to bed and go to work in the morning.
It's never been easier if you have a full-time job and career to do maple.
And
Like the monitoring, like you said, even concentrate tanks. I mean, you can have a full-time job and career and a pretty nice side hustle.
Yep.
Right, you said? So,
yeah.
Never been easier, I think.
Well, it's never been so automated.
Yeah.
You know, we got cameras that run on the monitoring system. We got all kinds of stuff.
I used the CDL monitoring system, and it changed my world.
Yeah, it tells you how bad your tubing was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad and I used to argue over things, and we were both wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to think I was good at putting tubing up, and I
I'm
wasn't.
often wrong, Pete, but I'm never in doubt. So
That's true. I can't argue that. No, I'll tell you if you're wrong.
and that's when I learned that with the monitoring that we weren't as good as we thought we were, because it wasn't at the end of the woods. We were looking at our releaser. That's not your vacuum.
No.
What's at the end of your main line is your vacuum. You don't realize how much micro leaks you have shutting down your tubing and production until you have monitoring.
Yeah,
That's true.
And I went back to standard over 10 horse pump, fixed my tubing, and I get twice the sap.
Yeah.
And
I thought that horsepower would solve it too, and
Yeah.
it's the opposite.
If we sell
Fix your tubing.
Yeah, we sell somebody a new pump and they call and says something's wrong with the pump. I only got 20 inches of vacuum. You got leaks. No, I don't. I walked the woods all day and I didn't hear nothing. You don't fix tubing by hearing. You look at the air bubbles in the line and look at the micro leaks around the spout.
You actually want a deaf guy out there
Yeah,
checking your.
that's what I tell them here too.
Put
And-
your earbuds in and use your eyes.
Yeah, that's, just go to your 5/16 where it comes to your main line, pull it from each way and put a horseshoe in it. If there's air bubbles going through the bottom of that,
Yeah.
there's a leak up the line somewhere.
Yeah. There's
that-
not enough content out there teaching people how to find leaks.
Well, there's a lot of content, but not all good content.
It's true.
And that,
It's true.
go to the guy that's, watch the neighbor. If he's hauling sap all day, go see what he's doing. Because he's got it
The
figured
guys
out.
that make 5, 6, 7 pounds, you want to listen to those guys.
Yeah, even 5 pounds is real common now. Now they're pushing 6, 7. I think Proctor said at one time the limit will be about a gallon per tap.
Yeah.
You got everything perfect.
As we get better and better, and there's small details that just add up. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
So your money's made in the woods. And once you get the sap to the sugar house, that's all easy after that, as long as you don't spill it or open the tank.
And you find that people that like to be in the woods sometimes aren't the guys that like running evaporators and vice versa.
Yeah. The woods is the best place to be. Nobody bothers you. There ain't nobody around and stuff. So,
Man, well, I really appreciate it, Pete. Thank you, man.
yeah.
Thanks for the tour.
You want to see that model, or I'll take you out
Oh,
here?
yeah. The line's getting longer out here, Pete.
Oh, yeah. It'll get worse by the time the day goes on. So you can see what we stock, PVC fittings, you name it, it's around here somewhere.
It's a hardware store.
Kind of,
These guys.
yeah. All the stainless cam locks, stainless, anything barbed we got, and then on the other side's the threaded stuff, and that. So it's
There's 100 people here, easy.
oh yeah, it'll get way worse than this. It'll get busy. But see, we carry all the vacuum pumps. So if somebody has one that goes down, needs to upgrade, do something, they don't always have to order it. I appreciate it. If you order in the summer, it gives me a chance.
That's an underappreciated thing. I think I realize some of the best sugar makers order ahead.
Yeah.
They plan.
Yeah.
They tell you what they want after the season.
Yeah. And the best time to talk to a sugar maker is right towards the end of the season, because
They remember what they need.
Yeah, and they're tired and they want to make this quicker. So if I do this, I can get more done.
Gotcha.
And that if you wait to October, that kind of fades in their memory. The pain goes away, and that. So
We have a lot of things that we say we'll get after the maple season that we don't remember until the maple season starts up again.
right. Yeah. So we try to stock as much of this stuff as we can to stay ahead of it. Plus, we're a long ways from any manufacturer.
There it is.
Yep. So this is it. You've got your dial here to control your heat, but I would put water in it.
This is your actual canner. Mini,
This is
and this is
for
the
the vacuum filter. Yeah, but if you look
take a look.
inside of it, let me get that paper out of there. So see, that's flat in the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
That isn't. It's
It's not a coffee urn.
It's like a boiler, they call it, and then it's it's double walled.
I got you. Is it really?
Yep, you can
A
squeeze.
little more insulation then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It gets hot, but not as hot.
A little
And
protection for your arm.
yeah, and that. This is replaceable. There's just a nut on the inside. This is replaceable. We keep them all in stock here. The sight gauges, these here. Now this somebody could adapt to their existing thing.
Very cool.
We've got long thermometers over there where if you wanted to, you could poke a little hole here and set it right in the top and see a digital thermometer
Gotcha.
and that
And then this is the vacuum.
filter. Yeah.
It's about $850.
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark. You see, this has got a spot for a gauge, your vacuum. They're pretty straightforward. People's
Yeah.
got 15 versions of them online.
Sure.
And that. So this is some of the Tap My Tree stuff, like these skimmers. They use these. They're cheap, and that.
Yeah.
And a hobbyist, it's fine for them. You don't need the big $40 one we've seen for
Stainless.
Yeah.
This is a picture Pete's mom took. There's Skitty Pete with the porn stash. 20 years old making syrup. Auto draw off. This is when they first built the building. Let's see if I can get out of the shadow here. This is the original location. Right here. This is where they were. Still make syrup here. This is an old creamery right here. And then this is the new location off the highway. See if I can turn. Not really a good way to do it. Pete's office here. The old pictures. His grandfather was a teamster on the logging crew out there. Gathering sap with buckets. They're lining up to get orders. There's just cars everywhere. Just coming in everywhere. All right, you guys have a story to tell me. What happened?
Yeah. So I'm sitting here talking to my new friend, and this other older gentleman comes up, and he says, "Hey."
So you say, "Hey, Ralph."
No, he said, "You're much better looking." And he said, "Would you take your picture with me? Because my son just loves Nate's channel." And I said, "Well, yeah, but Nate's right down there." And he said, No, didn't. I want to have my picture taken with you." And I said, "Well, yeah." And he said, "Well, I don't like the height." He said, "I just like the lower key because you're always running away from the camera." So he asked me to get my picture taken with him.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, that's fair. Fred, did you just make this up or is it a true story? True story? That's fair. They always like the ones that actually do the work.
God is our witness.
That's funny. Well, there you go. How many times that happened today?
That's the first of the
That's the first and the last.
So what it is they like you. They don't really like me. That's fair. Hey, that's most of Bissell Maple Farm. You asked me why I was hangry, and I said it's because I'm the second most famous YouTuber today.
Nobody come up and said, "Would you get your picture?"
You're approachable, Fred. I mean, when you see a supermodel like me, it's tough. It's intimidating.
You intimidate.
Right.
I don't.
Just too damn burn handsome. They're just not used to it.
Yeah.
It's better looking in real life. All right. So I just met this family here. You guys you tap up near Rhinelander. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you do watch the YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
So you see my face more than anybody's.
Yes, more than our family.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's what you said. I didn't say that. You did.
Yeah, no, I'm still.
All right. So how many taps?
We're around 400 right now.
Around 400 taps. And what is it that is helpful, or what would you like to see more of?
For us, we're just getting into tubing, so more information on how tubing works, how vacuum works, all the equipment.
Do you feel like there's a lot of good content out there on tubing?
I don't think so.
I don't
There's
either.
information out there, but I'd like it to be way more technical on how it works, the ins and outs of it, and not just the installation.
Yeah, the people who know about tubing are interested in getting it done.
Yeah.
And people like me who don't actually work, I like to explain it. I don't work. So we got Dalen here. Thanks, by the way.
Absolutely.
So we got Dalen here and his wife. What's your name?
Michaela.
Michaela. How do you spell Michaela?
Michaela.
Really? And you guys have a newborn, did I hear, or 1 year? What was it?
No kids.
No kids?
No.
What were you talking about with?
Humphrey.
Oh, Andy. Okay. So how many taps do you guys have?
2,400.
2,400.
Buy some sap.
And what town are you in?
Price Lake.
Rice Lake. Isn't that where they make the scales?
Yeah.
Okay, Rice Lake scales. Now, Dalen's nervous about this camera. You see how tense he is? Like, he thinks this is live, and it's being beamed to every house in America right now. And it's not. It's not. You see how tense he got? But once he laughed, because he was like, "Oh, I'm on America's Most Wanted." But the camera's weird, right?
It is.
But what's the key? Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. This isn't live. But it feels like it, right? Mm-hmm. This is not going into anybody's living room.
Right.
I promise you. But it will be. It will be.